Love rarely disappears all at once. It fades quietly. Most people don't realize it's happening until the distance already feels real. Not through betrayal, not through dramatic moments, but through small spaces that slowly go unnoticed. Conversations become practical. Instead of curious, laughter feels familiar. Instead of alive, two people who once felt deeply connected begin living beside each other instead of with each other. The truth is, love usually doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be noticed again. Today, we're looking at 5 quiet ways love can be rekindled. Not through pressure, but through emotional presence. Rekindling love isn't about doing more. It's often about removing what slowly made connection feel heavy. Closeness doesn't return through effort alone. It returns through safety. And by the end, you may realize love was never gone, just waiting for a different kind of attention. When love starts to feel distant, most people try to fix things. They explain more, ask heavier questions, push for clarity. But connection rarely grows under interrogation. Instead, try curiosity. Small questions that don't demand immediate answers. How have you been feeling lately? What's been on your mind? Curiosity quietly communicates. I want to understand you, not repair you. And when people feel understood, closeness begins to rebuild naturally. This becomes even more powerful when we slow emotional speed. Because most people unintentionally rush, distance often grows because life gets faster. Conversations become updates instead of moments. Love begins to feel like logistics. Sometimes rekindling starts with something simple. Slowing down. A longer pause before responding. Eye contact. Without multitasking. Listening. Without preparing your next sentence. Love grows in emotional space. And emotional space only exists when speed slows. Here's where many relationships quietly lose connection. And the next shift explains why attention matters more than attraction. Here's something people rarely realize. Attraction fading doesn't end love. Attention disappearing does. And this is where something important happens. Once attention fades, appreciation is usually the first thing to disappear, even though it's often the easiest way back. Early love is full of noticing. You thank each other for small things, you admire little moments. Over time, appreciation becomes assumed. And unspoken appreciation slowly turns into emotional invisibility. Start noticing again. Not grand gestures, small acknowledgments. I noticed you were tired today. Thank you for doing that. Sometimes the smallest sentence can make someone feel seen again. And feeling seen is one of the fastest paths back to closeness. Appreciation only works when emotional safety is present. Otherwise, it can feel like pressure. Many people try to rekindle love by asking, "Are we okay?" But that question often creates tension. Instead of asking for reassurance, create safety. Less pressure to perform emotionally. More room for honesty. When people stop feeling evaluated, they begin opening again. Love returns where judgment disappears. And this is the shift most people don't expect. Once safety exists again, even familiarity starts to feel intimate instead of routine. Long relationships become predictable. And predictability can feel like distance, but it doesn't have to. Instead of chasing novelty, deepen familiarity. Sit together without filling every silence. Share ordinary moments intentionally. Love often returns when ordinary moments start feeling meaningful again. Because intimacy isn't excitement, it's comfort that still feels alive. This is usually the moment people realize something deeper. And maybe this is where you realize something important. The distance you felt wasn't the end. It was a signal. Love didn't fade. Attention did. Rekindling love rarely requires changing the other person. It begins with changing how you show up inside the connection. Love fades when presence fades. And when presence returns, people often feel closer than they were even at the beginning. Love doesn't always need a dramatic restart. Sometimes it just needs quieter moments noticed again. A softer tone, a slower conversation, a feeling of emotional safety returning. If today reminded you of someone, send this to them. And if you're learning to understand love in a calmer, deeper way, Welcome to She Notices, where we slow down and notice what love is really doing.